Despicable Me 2 continues the animated world built around redemption, family, and absurd villainy, expanding the story of a former supervillain who has traded world domination for parenthood. The film exists in a space where comedy, heart, and exaggerated action coexist, using bright visuals and fast-paced humor to explore how people can change when given responsibility and love. This chapter shifts the focus from Gru's past as a villain to his uncertain future as a father, protector, and reluctant hero, while still embracing the playful chaos that defines the franchise. At the center of the story is Gru, who has fully embraced life as a devoted single father to his 3 adopted daughters. His days are no longer filled with evil schemes, but with bedtime routines, school events, and the daily challenges of raising children. Despite his efforts to leave villainy behind, Gru's past reputation still follows him, creating tension between who he was and who he is trying to become. This internal conflict adds emotional depth to the comedy, showing that personal growth is not instant but requires constant effort. The daughters play a crucial role in grounding the story emotionally. Margot, Edith, and Agnes continue to shape Gru's choices, acting as both his moral compass and his greatest motivation. Their presence reinforces the film's central theme that family is not defined by blood, but by care, protection, and commitment. Through their interactions with Gru, the film highlights how love can transform even the most unlikely individuals, turning a once-feared villain into a nurturing parent. A major shift in the narrative comes with the introduction of a global threat that pulls Gru back into the world of espionage and danger. A powerful new villain emerges, using advanced technology and stolen research to carry out a mysterious plan that threatens the balance of the world. This threat introduces a sense of urgency and scale, pushing the story beyond domestic comedy and into a more action-driven direction, while still maintaining its lighthearted tone. To counter this threat, a secret organization dedicated to fighting evil recruits Gru for his unique expertise. This recruitment forces him to confront his past, as he is valued precisely for the skills he has tried to abandon. The organization's presence adds a layer of parody to spy films, blending exaggerated gadgets, covert missions, and over-the-top scenarios with the franchise's signature humor. Gru's reluctance to re-enter this world reflects his fear of losing the life he has built with his daughters. A key addition to the story is Lucy, an energetic and optimistic agent whose personality contrasts sharply with Gru's reserved and cautious nature. Their dynamic becomes a central pillar of the film, combining romantic tension with comedic misunderstandings. Lucy represents a different path for Gru, one that suggests he can balance love, family, and purpose without reverting to his old ways. Their interactions are playful yet meaningful, slowly breaking down Gru's emotional defenses. While the main plot revolves around stopping a global threat, the film carefully weaves in personal subplots that enrich the narrative. Gru's struggle to navigate dating, social expectations, and vulnerability adds a relatable layer to his character. His awkward attempts at romance provide humor, but they also underline a deeper fear of rejection and failure, reminding audiences that even confident villains can feel insecure when facing emotional risks. The minions continue to serve as the chaotic heart of the film, delivering physical comedy, nonsensical language, and unpredictable antics. Their storyline introduces a transformation that turns some of them into exaggerated, uncontrollable versions of themselves, adding a visual and comedic spectacle to the movie. Beneath the humor, their loyalty to Gru remains constant, reinforcing the idea that even the most absurd characters can represent steadfast companionship. The villain of the story is designed as a dark mirror to Gru's past, embodying unchecked ambition and a desire for power without responsibility. This contrast highlights how far Gru has come, emphasizing that the true difference between hero and villain lies not in intelligence or capability, but in intention and empathy. The villain's actions escalate the stakes, pushing Gru to use his skills not for personal gain, but for the protection of others. As the plot progresses, suspicion and misdirection play an important role. Gru becomes convinced that a familiar figure is responsible for the villainous activities, leading to misunderstandings and strained relationships. These moments of doubt reflect Gru's lingering tendency to rely on instinct shaped by his criminal past, rather than trust and communication. The consequences of these assumptions drive character development and emotional conflict. The film balances action with introspection, using chase sequences, infiltrations, and confrontations to keep the pace energetic, while allowing quieter moments for character reflection. These quieter scenes often focus on Gru's relationship with his daughters, reinforcing the emotional stakes behind every dangerous decision he makes. The contrast between explosive action and tender family moments defines the film's rhythm. Themes of identity and self-acceptance run throughout the story. Gru is forced to reconcile the parts of himself that made him a successful villain with the values he now holds as a father. The film suggests that personal history does not have to be erased to move forward. Instead, it can be reshaped into something constructive. This message resonates through Gru's choices, showing that growth comes from understanding oneself rather than denying one's past. The relationship between Gru and Lucy evolves naturally as they face challenges together. Their bond is built on mutual respect, shared danger, and gradually earned trust. Rather than relying on instant romance, the film allows their connection to develop through shared experiences, making their emotional moments feel genuine. Lucy's belief in Gru becomes a catalyst for his own self-confidence. The climax of the story brings together all the narrative threads in a high-energy confrontation. Gru must use his intelligence, teamwork, and emotional growth to stop the villain's plan. This final sequence emphasizes cooperation over domination, showcasing how far Gru has moved from his isolated, self-centered beginnings. The resolution highlights that heroism is defined by protecting others rather than seeking recognition. In the aftermath, the film shifts focus back to family and community. Gru's journey reaches a satisfying emotional conclusion, reinforcing that happiness comes from connection and purpose. The daughter's sense of security and joy reflects the success of Gru's transformation, while the resolution of the romantic subplot suggests new beginnings rather than finality. Despicable Me 2 ultimately succeeds by expanding its universe without losing its emotional core. It builds on the foundation of the first film, deepening characters while introducing new dynamics that keep the story fresh. The blend of humor, action, and heartfelt moments creates an experience that appeals to both children and adults. The film's tone remains playful and optimistic, even when dealing with themes of danger and identity. Its colorful animation and exaggerated characters create a sense of fantasy that allows serious ideas to be explored without becoming heavy. This balance is a key reason the story resonates with a wide audience. At its heart, Despicable Me 2 is a story about choosing the kind of person you want to be. It argues that change is possible, that love can redefine purpose, and that even those with questionable pasts can become forces for good. Through laughter, adventure, and emotional growth, the film reinforces the idea that being despicable is not a permanent state, but a phase that can be left behind when one chooses family, responsibility, and compassion.